I'm Meskio. I'm part of the Anti-Censorship team at Tor. Tor is a non-profit dedicated to advance human rights by providing free and open source anonymity tools. But basically, what Tor is building is a network of relays run by volunteers all around the world. There is thousands of them. And when a user uses Tor, basically jumps through many of those relays, making it really hard for an observer to see what these users are doing in the network. Most of the users basically experience Tor through the Tor Brocher. The Tor Brocher is a browser with a lot of features embedded to provide anonymity and privacy, and comes with Tor embedded in it. Or many users also use something called Orbot, that is an app for the phones that basically let you route all your traffic in the phone through Tor. So once you start using a tool that let you browse the internet anonymously, this tool can be used to avoid censorship. So when there is censorship in your local network, whatever it is, because in the US they are blocking abortion websites, or in Spain blocking Catalan independent movement information, or social media in Iran, or independent press in Russia, Tor has become a key tool that people use to escape the censorship and be able to access the content online. But censors are noticing it, and censors are starting to find ways to block Tor. So blocking Tor is very trivial. I was mentioning before that Tor is basically a network of relays. So all those relays are public, and they are publicly listed. So a censor can just take this list and block all of them and block the connection to Tor. So the obvious solution is to create some special kind of relays that are not publicly listed. Those relays are what we call bridges. Bridges bring us two challenges to work on. One of the problems is, how do we make it possible for people to get to know those bridges while making it hard for censors to get the list of all the bridges, so they cannot block all of them? And the other interesting challenge is, how do we make it so the traffic that goes through those bridges is something that blends on the rest of the traffic of the censor, and is not something that the censor can spot and block by itself. On the first problem, we basically use different mechanisms of bridge distribution. So users can discover bridges, for example, through a bot that we have in Telegram. And we can use Telegram in a way where we can see how old is an account in Telegram, and give good bridges to accounts that are very old, and not so good bridges to accounts that are very new, assuming that censors basically have fresh accounts new, and they will never reach the good bridges. The same way that we can do, and we do in Tor Brocher, for example, that we have APIs that basically distribute different bridges every day. So censors need to be constantly pulling and listing all the bridges to be able to get access to all of them. I was mentioning before on the challenge of making it blend, how to make the traffic of Tor not being distinguishable in the network. For that, we have invented something that we call Plugable Transports. Plugable Transports basically are processes that talk with Tor and hide the traffic of Tor looking like something else. Looking like something else can be looking like random data. Random traffic that goes through the network, and when the censors see this random traffic, they don't know what it is. So it's really hard for them to censor it, because it's like, are they censoring something that they don't know but might be good and they don't want to censor? A Plugable transport that does that we are developing is something called OBFS4. And we have other pluggable transports that basically make the traffic look like something else, something benevolent that the censor will not want to block. Like, for example, a Snowflake does make the traffic look like WebRTC. WebRTC is this protocol that we use for video conferencing. So the censors are not willing to block all the video conferencing in the country, and then we'll let all the Snowflake pass by. Let me tell you a few stories of what we have been working on the last few years and the events that has been happening. In December 2021, a couple of years before Russia invaded Ukraine, we see how Russia was starting to block many things in internet, and one of the things that they started to block was Tor. For us, it was very important because Russia is the second country with more Tor users, and we see how they actually make the blockade in a way that was unexpectedly successful. They were not just blocking all the relays. They were actually blocking most of the bridges and finding ways to block Snowflake, differentiating the differences between a Snowflake and other video conference software. So this triggered us to develop new mechanisms to distribute bridges, like the Telegram bot I was mentioning before was developed and created explicitly for the Russian situation, because in Russia there is a lot of Telegram users, and it's been a very successful thing. This also have bring us a lot of collaboration with users. Like our community is a key thing for all the work that we do. Like we basically discover what is happening on these places because people tell us on these places, and we have all this feedback from them. And I thank you everybody that has been helping us through the years, and I welcome you to help us on all of these challenges. Another story is, you might remember last year in September, there was so many demonstrations happening in Iran. The Iranian government started to increase a lot the blockades in internet. And Tor became one of the key tools that people started to use to be able to access all the content that is blocked in the country. And people started to use a Snowflake there because that was the Plugable Transport that was more successful there. The story of Snowflake is very interesting for me in Iran because we were developing for many years a Snowflake. And Snowflake is a very complicated protocol. And while we were developing it, it's like, hey, we are doing that big, complex software that we don't know if will be actually useful. And at some point, like we, from one day to the next, we start having 100,000 users using a Snowflake in Iran. That brought us a lot of challenges because the Snowflake network was not ready for so much load. So we had to work heavily to scale the network. But at the same time, it was amazing to see a new tool that we've been developing for years being used, and is constantly still now being used by many, many people in Iran and many other places in the world. A current situation that we are facing today is Turmanistan. Turmanistan is an interesting country because the censors there are very bold. Like they don't care about collateral damage. In most of the places that we see, censors will be very careful to try to only block the things that they don't want to allow, but to let the rest of the traffic to pass through the internet. Turkmenistan is different. They basically, when they want to block something, they basically block big ranges of IP addresses, so they don't care about collateral damage. Actually, we expect that there is this black market where workers of the censor part of the government are actually making a profit on the side by selling VPNs to citizens. So for them, it's really annoying that tools like Tor are allowing people to access the internet for free. So for them, it's actually a challenge that they are trying to block us. And we are playing this cat and mouse game where we are trying many different things and they react very fast. And this is a current situation that we are working on right now, and it's taking us a lot of effort. So as a final notice, I did mention that the Tor network is basically run by volunteers all around the world. So you have the expertise. Running bridges is an amazing way to help Tor. But there is an easier even way to do that. I was talking about a Snowflake. A Snowflake basically works as people install a plugin in their browser. And so people that wants to connect in the censor areas to the Tor network, they basically connect through the plugin that you have in your browser. So it's a very easy thing to do. Just installing this plugin in the browser, and I welcome you all to do that and just keep it running to help people. Anyway, this is my email, and we have a forum that you're welcome to visit and ask questions if you have anything. And right now we are running a donate campaign, so if you can help economically to the project, you're welcome to visit donate.project.org. Thank you for everything, and see you on the net.